right, Mother. Podcast number one something.
Yeah.
160 something. I don't think we're at 170 yet, but it's been 2 weeks, I think, since we've done a podcast. I'm trying
Yes,
to think.
you took last
we
week
didn't
off,
do last
right?
week because of Christmas.
Yep.
It was a wild Christmas.
Yep.
The amount of travel, the amount of stuff has been chaotic, to say the least. So
Christmas was over a week ago, and I'm already in North Carolina.
Yeah. What is that? I just realized. What is that? What's on?
The
Oh,
heat.
that's my heat. Oh,
The
I was
heat.
like, man, that sounds very loud.
Yeah, it's chilly here in North Carolina for people
Yeah.
who are
We thought that it would be a
listening
little
in
warmer,
from other parts of the country,
yeah.
the world.
Sucks when it's cold, but there's no snow. It's just been raining here.
Yeah, at home we had snow
Yeah, we've been
and ice.
taking care of Gma, so back and forth.
We? Yes.
If it's in my apartment, it's
Yes,
we.
I agree. You know, you've done your
If you're
fair
using
share.
my place, it's we.
You definitely have helped out. That is true with Grandma.
So the best thing about a grandmother, I'm building this Lego. I'm doing that one-piece Lego that I posted in the Discord of the boat. No matter what piece I put on, I can put on a single piece, and she's like, "Chris, you're a genius.
You're great. You're wonderful at this.
You're a genius.
You should be a Lego craftsman.
She's trying to push me to be in the Lego competitions.
Yeah.
Little does she know, the Lego competitions, like, those people are freehanding that.
Yeah.
That's a level of tism I've never...
Grandmas think you can do anything.
Yeah.
They think you can do anything.
She's right, but...
Yes, they are right. They sound ridiculous, but grandmas are right. They see the potential in people that...
And my grandmother can be cold-hearted, so if she said something... if she wouldn't tell me if she didn't think I could do something, she'd be like, no, you can't do
Now
that.
you mean well.
Yeah. When I was playing guitar yesterday,
Yeah.
she, like... I'm trying to play chords. She's like, can you play a melody? And usually, she's like, usually I have a rhythm and a lead guitar, right?
Yep.
So she was trying to get me to do both at the same time. And I'm like, it's possible. It's just very difficult. Like, you have to train for that. Yeah. And she's like, okay. That was her reaction. She goes, okay.
We had a German expression that they always use at the house for me. Du bist sehr hübsch, aber für gar nichts. Meant, you're pretty, but you're good for nothing.
God, jeez.
Thanks so much.
You used to say that to me all the time.
When I was a little kid, I was like, I can't do this. I got older, and I go, what does that mean? I was aghast. Like, that's horrible.
Oh. I don't know why I said, oh, like that, but I wasn't thinking. Oh. We're tired. I won't lie to you guys.
It's been a long couple weeks.
Yes, it has been.
Long couple weeks.
People think that I took a break from, like, oh, I needed a vacation. No, it's just been that hectic that
we have tinsel brain. I'm going to call it tinsel brain.
That's what we call it?
The holidays, tinsel brain.
The tinsel.
Traveling, shopping, cleaning, packing, cooking, traveling.
Yeah.
Grandma.
At the end, Grandma.
Grandma.
It's like the 12 pains of Christmas. But they keep going after 12. But yeah, so we're finally back. We're starting to get back on a regular routine. We're kind of on the tail end of the holidays.
Yes.
What sucks is, like, you would think it's just Christmas, but our holidays are basically Thanksgiving to now.
Yeah, it doesn't,
it's such a shit
nonstop.
show. So, yeah. But I don't know what to tell them. I mean, Christmas was good. No complaints.
Everyone's healthy.
Got a lot of presents. Didn't get my Munchkin kitten, but I wanted to air that one out on the podcast.
I told you to get your own kitten.
I was hoping for a Munchkin kitten. I wanted to be like, you know, in those videos where the kids open up the box and there's a
You're
puppy
not
in
a
there,
kid.
and they're like, oh, it's a puppy, mom.
You're not a kid.
I wanted your 30-year-old to do that. I wanted to open a box, hear a meow, and hope for the best.
And the first thing out of your mouth would be, and Kenny and my can't touch her. Don't touch my
She's
cat.
not touching shit.
Don't touch my cat. Get away from her. You're not allowed to.
I almost flipped my shit on Christmas Day. But, no, all in all, it was good. Just a lot of travel. Saw family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And good travel. Nobody had any serious delays. Not good because I have to fly home Wednesday. But
Yeah.
nobody had any real major, no weather. I think Kenny's leaving tonight to go back to Miami, so it's not.
Oh, he's going tonight?
I believe so, yeah. So he should be
Now, I have to
having
point
any
out, my
trouble.
mom talks significantly quieter for some reason. Like, usually you're very loud. You sound like you're whispering. I can barely hear you from here.
Oh. I
Talk
think
like
I'm
a
trying the
man,
same.
goddammit.
I'm not a man.
There you go. We're doing it live, goddammit.
Du bist sehr hübsch.
Whatever.
I'm out of my train. I like having my desk in front of me with all my stuff.
Yeah, you got your mic right here.
This is a little bit of a...
Usually I have to tell you to back up from the mic. Now I'm telling you to...
I know. Now you
figure
tell me,
it out.
lean in.
You know what you got, what's it called when you get on stage fright? You got
No, I'm
stage
not
fright.
afraid. It's just more...
Yeah, sure.
No.
So we didn't really miss that much news last week because there wasn't.
It was kind of quiet.
Yeah, it was kind of quiet for the
part.
holidays, but I mean, we had the big news yesterday, arguably.
Yes, it was a big one.
Now, for those of you that don't know.
No, let me just say, all of Christmas was fraud. It was that whole fraud story. Where I was even saying to your dad, I don't even feel like looking at the news. It's just another, fraud out of Minnesota, fraud out of Illinois, Medicaid fraud, whatever.
Oh, the Somali fraud. Yeah, we'll get to that.
I know, but that whole week, I felt like that's all it was about, to the point where I didn't even feel like I missed anything when I didn't read the news in the morning. Right. So it's the same old stories over and over again, and I just was getting kind of bored with it. So I didn't even bring any articles for this podcast about it, because I said I feel like it's being not so much done to death, but the story isn't really advancing other than just keep identifying more and more fraud.
Yeah, I forgot my notes, but we can talk about the fraud stuff because it is interesting. And a lot has come out ever since. But I do want to start with the big, heavy-hitting topic, which is obviously we captured Maduro, the president, a.k.a. terrorist,
yep,
communist, dictator, everything under the sun. We captured him last night, I believe. 2 nights ago? No, last night.
I believe it was last night.
Yeah, last night.
Last night.
Big, huge. We've been waiting for this. I love how there's people in America like, how could Trump do this? Literally every Venezuelan I know, which not many, but even when you look on TV, they're like, this is the greatest thing to happen to Venezuela.
Yeah, yeah.
No one likes him, even in their own country. So, I think, now we go down the opinion rabbit hole here, but I think people in America don't really, who aren't that into politics, don't really understand how bad Venezuela is financially, right? There was a point a couple years ago, and I don't know if it's gotten any better, but their like a piece of printing paper was worth more than their currency.
Yeah.
Like if you were to go to Staples, get some printing paper, right, and handed it out, they'd be like, "Oh, I could sell this for bread."
Yeah.
So Venezuela's always been, I don't know. You know the history better than I do, but was that Maduro's fault, or was that the person before him and he just kind of carried on?
Well, one thing I want to say, though, for all those Venezuelans, one thing everybody has to keep in mind. They elected these individuals. Allegedly. So I do believe that there was a degree of fraud. I get it. But they make it sound like, these individuals marched into the country and took things over.
Right.
They had enough of support from other countries as well as enough people within their country. I'm not saying they had total democratic support, but they had enough support where they were continually getting reelected and installed in positions of power. That's why, as an aside, elections are very important. And somebody alluded to the fact that there's another reason why Venezuela is so important. Of all the countries, they were one of the original ones to have the questionable voting machines. Right. They brought the machines in.
They were the ones that kind of started the whole...
Right. So that's another reason why, as our country is starting, our government is starting to look more and more at that voter fraud in 2020, which more and more stuff is coming out that we knew about at the time. With that, it seems to tie into not just the oil of Venezuela, but that's an interesting side fact about Venezuela.
Yeah.
To bring this guy in, and you could squeeze people, get other information.
I think the question that viewers are going to want to know, though, is what happens now? Because we did just arrest a president. Although we call him a terrorist, he has allies. China, a big one.
Yes.
Brazil, a big one. Sort of. Cuba. What does that mean now? Like, to me, my mindset was, okay, we captured him, this avoids a war. But I think some people are arguing, oh, no, we captured him, now it's time to go to war because we're going to have to deal with the allies.
Well, my understanding from the Secretary of State today is they have a plan in place. So the United States is stepping in legally to set up a government or help the people set up a government. But in the short term, you need some sort of leadership because it is basically just a drug nation. It's an oil and drug nation. That's their whole economy. So when you take out or bring a leader to justice. So for those who are saying, oh, no, you can't do that. It's been done. It's been done before Noriega down in, Panama. George W. Bush did the same thing. President Obama did the same thing. I believe it was a Middle Eastern leader. I can't remember who it was, but it was on a kill list, and he had him either assassinated or brought in. So presidents do have the authority to do this in certain situations. Maduro has had an indictment out there since 2020, and he's also considered an international cartel leader. So there was justifiable reason to bring him in. The indictment was in the Southern District of New York. So that's been out there. They're executing a warrant. I believe the wife was included in the indictment, so I don't know if her hands are dirty also.
Which I feel kind of bad for, because if she's not, and you're just like, I get you're arrested kind of by proxy, right?
Well, it could be for security. Safety. It could be for security, and they gave her the option. But the interesting thing that I saw on the news, and there's a lot to be said for this, well, if you had the right to go and take him, why wouldn't you go get the other ones who were just as guilty? Remember I told you there were offhand two others that really effectively run the whole operation, even though he's the president head. And again, Rubio had a good point. He says, nobody appreciates the fact that we went in, we took this guy out. Not one American life was lost. Yeah. Right?
Let me tell you, I was reading on Delta Force today. I always salute the Delta Force. Yeah. They're like you think John Rambo's sick? These Delta Force guys are like John Rambo on even more steroids.
Yeah, they're focused.
They go in, not even on our turf. Just go in, take them out, right? All under the noses of the Venezuelans, and then next thing you know, he's in New York and he's captured.
Well, while bombing strategic locations too. And his point was, so now you're criticizing us because we didn't do it with 4 other people. Yeah. What are the odds an American would have been killed, and you guys would be like ripping into us right now? Yeah. And he's right. They went in, they took the key guy. That's the important thing. And maybe there's other things in the works we don't know, or maybe he was enough to put pressure on the other ones. Right. But there was a justifiable reason to do it and go in. And my understanding has been, we won't know more until later on, you got to trust what the president's saying, that they've been trying to negotiate with him. Yeah. And targeting the boats was part of it. Squeeze him, feel the pressure. Now you have to sit down and talk to us because, there's an indictment out there against you. You are not necessarily the lawful president of this country, et cetera, et cetera. Right. And again, we don't care about him. It's his allies that you worry about. So it has to be done properly and within legal parameters.
My favorite, the Democratic argument right now is, you see the picture of him talking about, like it's a video of him talking about peace. We want peace, not war, right? Mm-hmm. But basically all he's saying is, we want peace, we want war, but we also want you to allow us to do what we're already doing. It's like, well, you're not going to get peace that way. You can't keep peddling drugs into countries and say, hey, we want peace. Yeah. Basically, he's just saying, hey, we're going to do what we want, just don't attack us. Right. And that's not how that works.
And people tend to forget, including the Democrat Party that knows this quite well. There is a war on us from these countries. It's a stealth war in the sense that these drugs kill 100,000 of our citizens every year. Yeah. So think about that. If it was in Vietnam, if it was another, if we were physically young people in another part being mowed down by guns at the rate of $100,000 people a year, that would be, an act of war. That's been going on here in this country. You can make the case, well, that's because our politicians allow it. That might be true, allegedly. But if you don't go to the source and cut it out, that's a legitimate reason for anybody who's lost somebody, and we've talked about this, in their family to the drug war. It's a war. Make no mistake. Even though individuals choose to start the process or they get introduced to these drugs through various ways, they're hooked on it. That's the industry for Venezuela. I mean, oil and drugs, that's what they did. So now they want Cuba sweating, Colombia sweating, because ask yourselves, what is their economy of these places?
Yeah.
What supports these places?
I don't know enough about Colombia.
Coffee. That's all people used to know. But it's a growing nation. Well, they're not making the fortunes of the coffee bean.
Yeah. It's oil.
So, right.
It's always oil.
They have the perfect weather conditions for drugs.
Yeah. Same with Mexico.
Yeah. And also they're in situations where what they don't grow or have there, they can easily traffic it through those places up to the mother lode of the marketplace, and that would be here. It's interesting how all these socialist countries love to pump this stuff into our capitalist country, right?
Right. So do we have to, I think we still didn't answer the question of what the outcome is here. Should we be worried? Should we not be worried? In my eyes, I feel like it's done.
I think there's enough support from the Venezuelan people who, as I started to say, and this is why, we can parallel it to the recent mayor who swore on the Quran in New York City, who has made it very clear in his acceptance speech he believes in the I forget the term you used, the joy of collectivism versus the rigidity of independence. I mean, America...
saying you're going to get screwed by socialism in a second.
Right. I mean, he keeps dancing around this up, down, and sideways. He's a socialist Democrat. He says it. He knows it. I think he's a full-on socialist. Remains to be seen. But it's interesting that, okay, now we're watching what's going on in Venezuela. The same people that voted this individual in some cases, right? There's question about that.
Right.
And now how happy they are around the world. Venezuelans in this country, they're thrilled. They talk about how many people were murdered and their families destroyed, their businesses taken away. That's socialism.
We have a friend who, her father helped them escape from Venezuela. He's Venezuelan, and I mean, he's ecstatic. He's like throwing a party right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this means people are going to move back to Venezuela, but I mean, it saves a country to actually start rebuilding. I think that the lady that won the Nobel Peace Prize for last year, I think she's probably going to be the... she's going to take over for a time, and then they're going to put someone in. I don't think
she has enough support of the people to do that.
Okay, that was my question.
I don't know enough about the Venezuelan under politics to say, I'm not one to support regime change. I'm not one to say the U.S. needs to be involved in these countries unless they're actively attacking us.
Right.
But I do think we need to facilitate it. When you go in there and you cause a disruption, in this case a positive one for the outcome of this nation because they were spiraling out of control, I think we need to be very careful. Now you also have to remember the Monroe Doctrine, right? It goes all the way back to our Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, our fifth president, who said...
How'd you do that?
This, I could do all of them.
Oh, you think you can do all of them in order right now?
I could do all of them in order.
Okay, you can't just gloss over that. You got to go for it.
Okay.
Ready? Go for it.
Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, Tyler, Polk, Taylor, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, Abraham Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, Hayes, Garfield, Chester Arthur, Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison, Grover Cleveland again, Taft, Teddy Roosevelt, McKinley, Woodrow Wilson, Harding, Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Teddy Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, the first Bush, Clinton, George W. Bush, Obama, Trump, asterisk Biden, Trump.
That's going on TikTok. My mom has Asperger's.
Yes. Red drum, red drum, red drum, red drum. But anyhow, the Monroe Doctrine is the whole, we own we don't own it, but we control our hemisphere. Right. We did that at the beginning of our country because... there was wars going on between France and England, a lot of strife, and they were encroaching on our area, and the president at the time put his foot down and say, listen, I'm doing this doctrine that you don't come into our world and we'll stay out of yours. You stay out of our hemisphere and we'll stay out of yours. So to some extent, we are the kingpin over here on this side of the world. Just like when they need stuff, everyone's quick to come to America. On the flip side, you know what? When you're pumping drugs in and when your governments are bringing down our part of the world, we have a right to step in.
Does the Monroe Document, is that basically does that separate all the international waters, essentially?
I don't remember if it went that far, because that might have been done beforehand when we became a nation and with the War of 1812, I'm not sure. But it just was it's just basically a document that said, you got your stuff going on your side of the world, we'll take care of this side. You don't come over here and start moving in on our territories, we won't invade on yours. And that helped us as a young nation to kind of kickstart things.
Gotcha.
But going forward, I don't know. All I know is what Rubio is saying, that we have the ability to go in. We're going to work with the people of Venezuela. We want to set up a government that is legitimately theirs. But, it's a socialist nation. You just don't flip a switch and come in.
That's the hard part. Like, you can't. The problem with going socialist is it's incredibly hard to flip back to capitalist.
Yeah.
Because you have to build everything for one, right? You have to figure out your infrastructure. So, like the whole new Gaza plan, Operation Sunrise or whatever it's called, right, that they're doing.
Oh, yes.
So that's a capitalistic country. That's going to take 10 years at minimum to rebuild. And that's with an infrastructure designed for earning money. Now you have Venezuela, that's already a failed state, right? Imagine trying to print money without a printer. It's kind
Well, look at us here. I mean, we were nowhere in that point, but it's still taken the president a year, and now it's set up that our economy should start to improve. And we were not totally socialist. I mean, our inflation was very high, but you can imagine in these countries where their economy is just so messed up, and the government is essentially running these businesses, which is what socialism is. They take over the local the companies, and now you have to, in essence, privatize these companies again.
Right.
And you need investors, and you need people to come in, and you don't want, people from France, billionaires coming in. Now they're running the country. You don't want to turn into an oligarchy, right? So it has to be done.
So when
very
people
carefully.
say war makes money, you're kind of starting to see how.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
But as importantly, there's a lot of unrest going on in Iran. I don't know if you had an article about that, but I am the first one to say we should not be involved in everything.
Yeah.
I know the president has said, we'll go over there to help these
Why would
people.
we go over help? I don't
Well,
really get
it's
that.
not so much that they hate us. Sometimes a country has to do for themselves.
Yeah.
You can't always use other nations to come in because then you just take advantage. And for people to say, well, you're America. That's how we did it. We
Yeah.
took on those superpower
We did the
250
hard
years
thing,
ago.
and now you guys want the
Right.
handout.
Hey,
That's
and
right.
we've dealt with our own civil war. We've done all that, And that's why I'm free to say, if the people of Iran are sick and tired of the
I think you have
theocracy.
to quickly explain, though, what's going on over there, because it seems to be higher cost of living, wages going down, which you always hear in failing countries. But I feel like that has kind of been swept under the rug. Like, I'm not really seeing very many news outlets talk about it.
Right.
So most people don't know that the people of Iran, this has nothing to do with the Israel-Palestine stuff.
Everything is always interrelated. Don't get
Sure,
yourself wrong.
sure.
I mean, this maybe would not have happened if what was going on in Israel, Gaza
That's
had
a
taken
good
place.
point as well. But basically, the people of the country are rising up against the government. Right? The protests everywhere, but on a grand scale.
Yeah, it's
Not like a BLM riot. It's a little worse.
They're a theocracy over there.
Right.
It's a tribe, but it's run by religious rulers, the Khomeini. They came in and they kicked out the Shah. They used to have a prince called the Shah, or king as Shah. He came to America for safety. That was in I want to say the 70s, maybe? And it went from, for instance, the women, but just like any other woman you saw in the street, to the next day they were covered from head to toe. So they've been living under that type of oppression, under the understanding that this is your religion and this is, accept it or we'll kill you, basically.
Right.
So now you're seeing these younger generations taking a stand saying, no, we don't want to live like this anymore. And using the opportunity, the unrest in the Middle East in a negative way for the rulers of Iran. That bombing affected them economically quite a bit. That tends to embolden people to say, now's the time to rise up. Because the mullahs are in disarray. Their whole nuclear program was destroyed with one bomb from one president of the United States, or it was severely damaged. All these things come into account. And now you have the young people. And that's why I say it's organic to some extent in that nation. Let them figure it out.
Yeah,
We don't
can't
need
help
to
them
come
with
in.
everything.
I would love to make every country a democracy because I believe in democracy. I'm an American. I love democracy. I believe in individual freedom. I believe any religion should promote individual freedom, not collectivism of any kind. Mm-hmm. So I would hope that happens. I would hope the U.S. would help any nation, but it's not our place to go in. I don't want to start doing this where we go into every country and deal with it. Because frankly, the people of Iran, they don't affect me as a citizen as much as, say, drugs that come in from Venezuela, right?
Yeah, it's true.
They threaten us and everything, and yes, they threaten Israel. I get that. But at the end of the day, for American citizens, you got to ask yourself, what is harming me the most personally? It's not Iran and what's going on over there.
I think more and more people are seeing that after how much money we gave to Ukraine and nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think now we're a little more hesitant to just throw money at a problem.
Right.
Because I think even the Democrats have realized that the backlash isn't worth it unless they're making money, which is another aspect of this. But
well, the only issue I have with Ukraine, and we don't go to that slow because it's Owen, but unfortunately, as Americans, we need to, if we're going to change the way we do things, we have to cut things off and say, we're not going to do that anymore. That's fine. But we were involved in making the mess in Ukraine. I didn't support it as a citizen. I didn't know what was going on. But too many of the leaders under the Obama administration, and maybe even before that, set that nation up because we got involved. We tried to put a ruler in that was favorable to the U.S. And that's why I disagree if we're too involved in these things. It winds up becoming, I don't want to be involved in Ukraine. We've said that forever. Same thing with Iran. I don't want to get involved in these nations. I think it's more valuable for the people to rise up and take a stand and overthrow leadership if they want a new government, which our declaration says the people have a right to decide who governs them. That's not the Middle East. That's not how governments around the world think everywhere. Right. We take that for granted as American citizens. And now we're even seeing, it looks good on paper, but is that actually what's happening in our country? And that's why we all get upset with what we've been seeing lately, like the fraud.
Yeah, perfect. Great segue, because I was about to try and figure out how to segue to that.
Yeah.
So that's another one that if you're not in the know about the huge fraud scandal that we just had, that we're finding a lot of these Somali Americans are doing. Well, I can't even call them Somali Americans. They're just Somalis.
Yeah, I don't think they're citizens, many of them.
I mean, when all of them are, when you're not assimilating, you're not an American. That's my new rule.
Yeah.
But so for those of you that are like, man, that sounds pretty racist to call them all Somali. They are all Somali. It's what they do. I saw a whole documentary on how deep this goes, in the sense of how they infiltrate police, how they infiltrate teaching, how they do all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a whole system they have over there to become to make money in America without having to deal with the president. So they send money back to Somalia. It's $1 billion, right? I think $2 billion.
Well, it was $1 billion so far that was identified in Minnesota,
right?
Minneapolis, I think it was.
So
from the beginning,
real fast, shout out to Nick Shirley.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I've seen this kid before. I didn't know his name, but when you mentioned that, I was like, let me look this guy up. If it wasn't for him, this probably would have never been uncovered. So
no, let me just backtrack. What people don't understand, this was uncovered in 2014. It was reported on out there in 2014.
Really?
But it got no attention. Okay? This was 2 years before Trump ran for office. So it was during the Obama administration. Right. It was not reported on. So for people to say, oh, we didn't know. Oh, they knew. And now people are making the case. I don't know the facts. They're alleging. There was a representative out there, a young woman by the name of Hartman. She and I believe her husband too. They mysteriously died. She was raising criticism about the governor, Tim Walz.
Was it Walz at the time?
Yeah, about the governor, what's going on, and this fraud. All of a sudden, next thing we know, she's dead. Now, could be coincidence, but there are some journalists who have now, online journalists, that are bringing this to the attention. You know, this is a woman that was very outspoken about the fraud in her state. And how come nobody knew about, how come nobody was making the connection then? And that was just, I think, a year or two ago. So this isn't new. It's been, people know about it out there. Yeah. It's finally getting national attention.
Give Nick Shirley his props, because if it wasn't for him, this wouldn't be as big as it is. Because of him, the DHS got involved, or the DHS, got involved, which is big. So basically they're being investigated now. But this is crazy. So the big one's the daycare. Yeah. Right? So basically they were funneling money through this daycare.
Yep.
And Nick Shirley goes in. He's like, man, I've never seen a single car at this daycare. Let me go in and see what's up. The whole thing's a scam.
Yeah.
This daycare that's been around is called the Leering Center, because they forgot the N in learning. So that was probably the first sign.
Yeah.
All Somali. There's a couple non-Somalis, but 89% of it was Somali people in the whole scandal.
Yeah.
I still think the best part is if you call the Learning Center, it goes right to Tim Walz's.
Does it really? I didn't know that part.
I saw that today.
Oh my God.
So, it's just a full scam, and Tim Walz has to know what's going on. There's no way he's trying to backpedal, and there's no way he gets reelected. No shot.
Nothing surprises me anymore, and I think the shocking part about it now is one of our political parties, namely the Democrats, are actually now trying to spin this as a defense. This is the cost of doing business.
What?
Exactly. And it scares me to think that young people are believing this. You want your money, you want to work hard and have your tax dollars given away. We've only identified one group. This is going on now. Now we know it's going on in Ohio.
Right.
We've seen it in Maine. One guy was getting $5 million, one individual, $5 million, and was sending it to Somalia of our tax dollars. He's not even a citizen. He had a business up there and didn't hide it. that's what the brazenness of this now. They don't even want to hide it. And now they've got politicians trying to defend this stuff going on and try and make it sound like to citizens that, you know what,
crazy.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You just keep working, pay your taxes. We're just going to give it to other countries.
It doesn't make sense how, I think it sounds terrible to say, but like get them all out of here. Because literally the whole being of these people is to help their own country. If you come here to not assimilate, get the hell out.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yes.
I don't understand the mindset. I can get it. I understand coming for a better life, but if you're not going to assimilate, get the hell out.
They're not okay. What more do we need around the world? These individuals are not looking to assimilate. I'm not going to say they're committing fraud, and that is wrong. That is bad. But somewhere along the line, our government, or the way we were set up, allowed this to happen.
Yeah.
And now the people of this nation are putting their foot down. And maybe people don't agree with me, but I have to put my foot down. This is not fair to young people in our country who can't get a job, who can't buy a house, who are afraid to start a family, all the things that make a nation great. We're watching erode because we're losing the middle class. We're losing all these things. And meanwhile, how much money could be in my pocket if we weren't giving taxes away that are funding individuals who have no interest in benefiting our country? They're sending it, like you said, literally out of the country or lining their pockets with no intention of ever becoming part of the American dream, just the American grift.
Yeah.
There's no future in that.
Yeah, but now the FBI is really investigating it, so it's gonna. But I don't know what you do. I don't know how you get the $1 billion back, but I think this is definitely gonna hurt our relations with Somalia. I don't know if we had very many, but
Somalia never loved us.
Yeah.
Somalia never cared about us. These are tribal countries. They're at war constantly with themselves.
I respect it. Just don't do it here.
That and the point of this was they're making our country into what their country was like.
Yeah.
They left it for a reason. People want to, misery loves company. They want to drag our country down. And it's the job of us as citizens to stand up for our country. And that's from people anywhere. They don't have to be born bred here. There are many people who love this nation, like many of the Venezuelans who left that social country. They love America because they got back to what they believed in, and they will defend our country. Venezuela may be in the whole land, but they appreciate what this country has done for them. Mm-hmm. They'll be the first to say, get this other group out. They're not respecting the American way. And that's the part where I was saying to you over Christmas, how many more stories of fraud do I have to read about? I'm sure there are other groups, not just Somalians.
Well, Elon went through a lot of it with Doge, and he can't really release it. He just kind of gave it to the president and said, hey, do what you will with it. Now we're starting to see it, but Elon's tweeting like, oh, this is the least of our problems.
And what's concerning is it's becoming systemic. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And we don't understand. And that's what I said to you, I think, over Christmas. I would love to sit down with Mr. Musk and have a conversation about, you of all people must know, there has to be a way to control this. There has to be a way, mathematically, computer-wise, macros-wise, I don't know what, but I'm not saying they want to do it as politicians or government people, but I got to believe for the next generation, in the world of AI, how does money just go out the door and nobody knows where it goes? Yeah. That just doesn't make sense. It has to be by design.
Rogan, because when he last did Rogan, he talked about his time at Doge, so maybe you might want to look into that.
Yeah.
We can give
it's things like there's no names, no entries, money just goes out, there's no check.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure there is a way.
How does this guy not have a social security number but is making $500 million?
And my point is, how is there not like a crash system that stops that?
Yeah.
Why do we not? It's by design, I'm sure. But going forward, your generation, I always say, you can't tell your generation, oh, we have no way of tracking anything.
Right.
You know they can track you from going to point A to point B no matter where you are in the world and your money. Don't tell me you can't track it for good rather than for using it against people. But I think if you want to use intelligence, these elites like a Musk, that's where I'd love to see them spend time. He did Doge. I appreciate what he did. But now we have to take it to the next level. Well, how do you fix this so it never happens again?
Right. Speaking of groups, did you see this is where we're going down the conspiracy theory road a little bit here.
My favorite.
Yeah. The Freemasons. Did you see this in the UK?
I did see this.
So I don't think we have enough time on a podcast to explain what the Freemasons are. If you don't know what the Freemasons are, go to the Y Files on YouTube, look up Freemasons. AJ Gentle has great videos on it. Yeah. But this was supposed to be a secret society. Now, there's different, not to go into the details, I'll give you the basics, but you have like 35 levels of Freemasons or whatever it is.
Right.
Start at the bottom level, you work at 35 and work your way to number 1, and they're kind of like the quote-unquote Illuminati, like the people that have run everything.
Yeah.
And, right, there's supposed to be that secret society no one hears about. The UK just said, hey, if you're in the police force, you have to announce if you're in the Freemasons or not.
Yeah.
And the Freemason organization comes out and it's like, you can't do that. It's just very. I thought you guys didn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. They're a very loose company in a sense. How do I say this?
The Freemasons, they were guilds. Like they're refreshing my mind that they were guilds from a long time ago. You joined the Freemasons and you were part of, back when they had the apprentices and whatnot. That's how it started.
It's really changed, and from what I've heard from the grapevines, from my people.
There's something nefarious about that. I'm trying to remember what the story was.
Like, I know Shaquille O'Neal is one. I think Charles Barkley's one. They've gotten to, like, level 14 out of 35. And the deeper you go, the more you get to, like, the evil ones that run the world is kind of the idea. So no one knows who the first-degree Masons are.
Right.
But again, this was supposed to be something that never existed. Oh, the Freemasons don't exist. And the UK is like, hey, you got to announce if you're a Freemason and you're in the police force.
Right.
Because obviously, like, you can't really have that. And the Freemason organization is like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
I think it's related to the Illuminati, right? The old Illuminati.
Yeah. That's the triangle on the dollar bill.
Was Da Vinci supposed to be part of that, the Illuminati?
Yeah, there's
theories that a lot of famous people were part of the Illuminati.
Yeah. It goes back to like 500 BC.
Yeah, it's a long time, and it was a guild, and they formed a brotherhood. But for some reason, I feel like it was nefarious. I don't know if maybe the Catholic Church was against it because they were not. From long ago, the Roman Catholic Church didn't want any competition.
This is the part where we're gonna leave that to the conspiracy theorists because we can't. I don't want to make guesses here.
Yeah, I don't know the whole story,
because then we just get called idiots online. And you don't know the Freemasons. It's like, yeah, I don't.
I'll accept that we don't.
Yeah, but from my understanding, because I have done some research into it, I can't say if it's nefarious or not. There's definitely been some nefarious things in the old days, and when you get to the lower levels,
right?
But not most, but the celebrities that I hear who have been on podcasts and talked about it, they're like, oh, you just have to put your time in. Like, I'll just drive my friend to, like, his kids to school, come back, gradually work your way up. It's like, you're not doing that you might be doing that from 35 to 34, but once you get to, like, the top 10, I think you're getting rid of some people. You know? That's what I mean.
It's just a carpool anymore. You're not doing.
It's not a carpool anymore. Now you're taking the kids and you're rolling out the door while you're putting into a lake.
Oh, God.
But
it seems a little silly, that they would ask that. First of all, is a person going to admit to it if they are?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Right. So why would you even ask it? That's like saying, are you part of a secret society? Why would I admit that? I'm not that I'm giving up the secret, to your point.
It's just kind of strange. Well, I get why they did it. So, like, I think the problem is, and I think this just kind of goes to show how much time has passed since it started. Apparently, allegedly, 1/3 of the police force in the UK are Freemasons, which means it's basically just a sign-up sheet. But you're essentially saying, like, oh, if he's in the Brotherhood and he gets pulled over, I can get him out of this ticket. So I think they just want to make sure that police officers aren't letting guys go because there's so many Freemasons.
Well, and you don't want an organization like that, a government organization where you have an underclass or working against you. But I think, okay, that's fine. They got so much problems over there.
Yeah, it's the least of their worries. So if the Freemasons...
If they're doing any police work, I think it's good,
If the Freemasons don't want them in, just screw it. If they get out of a traffic ticket, okay.
Right.
If they're killing people, that's different. But, yeah, the Freemason... I think so many people have found out about it that it's just a quick sign-up and then... Oh, you're a Freemason, level 35. And
if it's gotten to the point where if it's really bad, like it's pervasive, there's fraud, if you will, in the policing, that's a problem. Right. I would say that. But to your point, I mean, everybody anybody here in this country knows, if you have a buddy on the force, they'll get you out of a ticket, or allegedly. Yeah. They will do that if you know somebody, like they have the authority. Let's not say they will definitely do it, but they have ways if they want to get you out, right? There's people who hand out tickets that if you get a ticket, just call this number and my friend will help you. Right. It's going to happen in any society. That's part of it. But
exactly. Like if you're going to help me, just like if Kenny was a cop and he pulled me over, if he gave me a speeding ticket, I mean, he's getting a knuckle sandwich for Christmas. All right, Mike, you want to do your articles? I can't really pull them up, but...
My articles? I just had a couple interesting ones. Young people getting healthier.
That Chinese food
makes thirsty.
Me out.
Yeah. So the young people are getting healthy again. Okay?
What?
So 18 to 34-year-olds, only 50% are admitting to drinking, which still sounds high, but it's lower than it's been in the past. And 35 to 54-year-olds, 56% say they drink. Moderate, not necessarily alcohol problem. And 55 and older, also 56%. So that's interesting. Think about that. 18 to 34, that's your college age. Right? They're going down in alcohol consumption. They're not omitting to do as much of it, or they're not as into it. 18 to 34-year-olds, 2/3 of them say...
Mom, talk into the mic.
Oh, sorry. I've got my paper
I just realized my mom's looking away from the mic.
18 to 34-year-olds, 2/3 of them say that moderate drinking is harmful. So they're now seeing alcoholism as the problem that it really is. It's the health issue that it really is.
So let me just throw a little wrench in the machine. Is that people who drink regularly? Like, what happens if you don't really drink for like 3 months and then one night you get just absolutely messed up?
No, I think it's more like they're not asking, like, check this off. I think they want their opinion based on your lifestyle. Are you find you drink a lot? Are you drinking more? And 50% are saying that they drink, right?
Okay.
If you look at the article, they may do more detail. But the overall takeaway is, and it's not just the drinking, working out and mocktails are the rage now. So now more people into taking care of their bodies, younger people, right? Working out, they're seeing the benefit of exercise.
Now, is this when the pendulum goes from drinking to unhealthy to gym bro to let's get on all the GLPs? Because I'm all for it.
Well, no, but they reference throughout the article, and I don't do as much detail in the article anymore because I figure people can read if they want to, but the Joe Rogans, the Huberman guy, the people who are influencers are doing just that, talking about there really is not a lot of benefit to alcohol.
Right.
Alcohol is very damaging to the body.
Oh, yeah. There's no benefits to it. Same with... That's why they argue marijuana is better than alcohol, because there's no real long-term damage. But, hey, no one's ever said to me, man, I got super high and drunk and got all my taxes done. Right. It's not one of those things that's going to improve you, and definitely it relaxes me. Well, hey, there's a lot of things you can do to relax.
Right. And it is... And the relaxing thing, which we've talked about this too with anxieties and depression and whatnot, so much of that is becoming too drug-based.
Right.
So alcoholism, and we can make this argument, I don't know if it's true, but maybe younger people aren't doing as much with alcohol because many more of them are on depressants. Who knows? So they don't need the alcohol.
I can't drink because of my diazepam.
I don't know. Or they feel like, okay, I'm not as... Because people used to drink... Drinking is a symptom. It's not a cause, right? So it's to help some other underlying problem.
Right.
If they have substitutes now, which I'm hearing so many young people are on antidepressants, right? Maybe they don't need the alcohol because they're on something else. I don't know. But the point is, from what you're saying about, it's marijuana drinking. Those are all things to treat symptoms. They're not curing anything. They just treat the depression, the anxiety, or whatever. People doing that, I think, oh, no, I'm just having a good time. My opinion is, from my experience, those are the people that when you pull back the layers, it's not about a good time.
Yeah, it's
There's
not.
something else going on there, right?
Dad was abusive.
Right,
like,
right.
Well, one of our friends, back to the THC stuff real fast, because I was telling you this story without using names. In North Carolina, marijuana is not illegal, but you can get THC drinks.
Yeah.
So there's no alcohol in them. And my friend had life of the party. There's someone who's always outgoing. She had one of those within 5 minutes. She was the most dead-headed person I've ever met.
Right.
I was like, wow, we got to stop drinking these. And even the next day, I saw this person. They were like, yeah, no more of those. We're going to take a break from
and
those.
some people you could talk to some people who, with marijuana, they'll say, and I've seen this myself, they're very different personalities, but it's every time they do that, right? But other people could be as high as a kite on things, whereas others take it and they're depressed, or they become sleepy, or, so people have different reactions to them. They're drugs.
Yeah,
right?
same with alcohol. Like, I just get tired when I drink.
Some people get that way. Some people get high as a kite. Some of them go through the whole thing. So, but what's interesting is if you ask somebody who has that experience, they'll say, "Oh no, I can't get high because I fall asleep, or my brain just goes out." It's not like they ever say, "But sometimes I'm really in a great mood."
Yeah,
that's just been my experience.
I guess the only time I would say it kind of makes sense is, I guess, going to sleep, because there is something that you're doing. But again, I've never heard someone say, "Man, I smoke or get high because I get more stuff done," right?
Well, interestingly enough, though, it depends. Maybe not marijuana, but that's how things like cocaine and heroin.
Well, hold on. Now we're talking. We're at different levels here.
Right, but in the old day, like medicine, like at the turn of the century, doctors, especially like researchers,
opium,
allegedly, they took those things speed. They could work all night and have medical breakthroughs.
Well, I mean, just look at ADD medicine. All it is just methamphetamine, but without the addictive principle.
Right. And then I always say, you see those stats, there's more autistic people now. Like, it's a phenomenon. Are there? Or is it healthy people taking the medication when they're older because they know the benefits to doing that? So we don't know all those stats. I mean, if you just go by who takes these medications, I don't know that that's... But to your point, I've never known anybody who's done anything, great after taking a hard drug. That's not necessarily true. I'm not saying it's good for them, and eventually they crash. But speed used to be what a lot of people took to keep them going. And they thought it was a good thing because they didn't realize it was a damaging drug.
Yeah.
Addictive, too.
Yeah, the one thing that I think we talked about in one of the podcasts recently, the one thing I really do disagree with a guy like Rogan on is the marijuana. Like, he compares... If Sam Kinison wasn't on drugs, he wouldn't have been as funny. It's like, okay, you're talking about such an outlier.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of kids that smoke. All of them are deadbeats.
Right.
Maybe like 2 of them ended up having a stable job / relationship.
Right.
So I don't know. That's why hey guys, just stay away from this stuff. You don't need it.
Well, and that's the point.
Except for pain. I will say a lot of medical. But,
right.
Yeah.
If it gets you through. It's still not fixing what causes the pain, but it's, once again. But that's the point of this. Younger people are starting to see things more that way, or that's the trend. And they're also compensating with being more involved in exercise, working out, strengthening themselves, thanks to a lot of the influencers, because they're bringing the attention to the harm of the stuff and why it's better to improve yourself. Well, I mean, I've seen it with you guys just through the people over the years that you've heard from, and some of them are nut jobs, but many of them are consistently always about health, get in shape,
well, that's why
take care of yourself.
With Rogan, for instance, not that I put him on such a high pedestal, but he actually has other doctors on there, experts in the field, not just 2 guys talking about it. Right. I'm not an expert in anything except for maybe video games and YouTube. My mom's an expert in politics, but I don't think we're not giving you. We're not giving you.
I have an opinion. That doesn't make me an expert.
But you have your 10,000 hours. That's usually you easily have your 10,000 hours.
What do you mean by 10,000? What does that mean?
10,000 hours is arguably the threshold for when you're considered an expert in something.
Oh, is that true? Yeah, I don't know.
Like statistically, which you're way past the 10,000
hours. Oh, that's interesting. I've never heard that term, but Go ahead, finish your thought. I was just like...
I was just saying how I think because of that, it's not just random people saying things on the internet. Mm-hmm. Like with a Rogan, when he's having some of the brightest minds in the world talk about their subject or their topic, like I'm going to go by that.
Yeah.
Right? So I think because Rogan's opened the door for a lot of podcasts and a lot of people to kind of speak... that allows my generation to learn from someone other than just your gym bros. Right. So.
Well, and I give them credit for doing it, but also it's kind of, to some extent, a softball. Because I'll say as a nation, but probably globally, we've seen the track of what people used to do. We started falling off a cliff with more of the junk food, mom's working. I mean, all these societal things have changed. Yeah. And now it's so easy to turn around and say, hey, you know what the best thing is? Cut all the garbage out.
Cut it out.
And go back to basics, right? Like we talk about intermittent fasting. People always used to do that. That's not a new idea, but it's touted as, oh, try this new thing. And lately what I've been finding interesting is, and this does remind me of even family members who have said, doctors tell me you could work out, it won't make a difference in terms of weight or whatever.
This just doesn't even make sense, but go ahead.
Well, there's more science behind that, I have to say, in the sense that, it builds muscle and whatever, but that's a whole different ballgame. Just doing like walking and whatnot. They're saying the benefit to the mind, right? Joints and whatnot. So maybe you're not getting, the great body, but it is important to do that because it's the overall good thing for your body to get people off a sofa.
No doctor's going to say don't work out.
Well, you're right, but I've heard some say questionable things like, oh, you could run a marathon and you'll never lose a pound. I'm like, that's the wrong thing to tell people if they have an underlying condition. Because working out isn't just about losing weight. It's mental, right?
Yeah.
Like the Joe Rogans you learn that from. It's not just about, that's the perk, gaining strength and being able to master jiu-jitsu, whatever. But it's a mental thing, just as much as it is a physical thing. And people need that. And I think that's another reason why so many young people, like your generation, was the beginning of coming home, sitting in front of a game in the basement. No more playing outside. That is tremendous for brain development and getting kids active and they grow up to be healthy adults.
I wonder if there's a study, because of the video games and stuff, I wonder if we are the most hand-eye coordinated generation.
It's possible. And I'm not blaming just video games because I'm saying kids didn't go out and play anymore, whether they were in front of a TV watching shows or on the internet,
Yeah, Mom, because anyone get picked up by the local aisle.
And you know what? And that's our fault as parents. I'm not saying the kids' fault, but a lot of statistics would say that was so overblown.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
The kids weren't being stolen.
If a guy told me he had candy, I was getting in there, Mom.
But their point was, that did happen. Of course it happens all the time. But people they convinced people, society, that you let your kids play out in the front yard, they're going to get kidnapped. Some kids
Shout out to Larry, whose mom wouldn't even let him outside on the front yard because she was so scared he was going to get kidnapped.
Lots of people like that. I mean, we were very protected too because that's how you are and it becomes your second nature. And that stopped a lot of kids from going out. And we did it in the podcast a couple months ago where there was an article that said, kids want to do more. They want to be independent, but their parents won't allow it with the phone and everything. Mm-hmm. They'd love to go down the street and play with friends, or so they say, right?
Right.
But they're not geared up to do that. Anyhow, back to what we're saying with this is that I think it's progressing where now you're seeing the pendulum swing the other way, where young people are saying, listen, what we're doing is not working, and alcohol's not doing it for me. Rogan's telling me, we used him as an example, telling me it's not good. He's got doctors telling me, so why am I doing it?
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I think it's a very good thing.
What's your next one, Ma?
What was my other one? The other one was Patriot Games. So while you're working on your body and getting healthy, Trump announced that we're going to have the Patriot Games to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country. Right?
I don't know anything about this. I just know what it is, but I don't know anything about it.
There's not a lot of details yet, Trump in his way. They're going to take 2 of the best athletes from each state, 1 male, 1 female. No transgender, he said. We're not going to have any boys playing girls' sport.
They just announced that the U.S. is only going to identify as male and female. Like we're not doing any more gender stuff.
Oh, I never heard about that, but
I
that's
saw that
interesting.
today trending on Twitter. So.
It'll be a 4-day competition.
Okay.
It's being organized by Freedom 250, who's working with American 250. But that's all they really know right now. We don't know the full, I think, typical Trump
Hunger
is
Games.
Developing it. Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be like 2 Delta Force guys versus 2 Delta Force guys.
Can I tell you, it was a ridiculous number. It's like 700,000. Maybe, no, I might be wrong. Maybe that was Pennsylvania. But it was like 250,000 students identify as athletes in the state of New Jersey, which is it's a dense state, but it's a small state. I think there was like 700,000. How do you choose one male, 1 female? Wow. And they're going to compete. They don't even know, but they're not even sure what they're going to compete in. Will it be multiple things? Will it be one sport?
I know I'm going to get the call from North Carolina. I don't know if I can show up.
You're not old. You're too old now. It's high school.
Oh, what? I have no care.
One
Wait,
high school student. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's not any athlete. No,
I
it's
thought
high
it was
school.
any athlete.
Yeah.
Okay, I lost
I
interest.
mean, it's an interesting idea. it's kind of overwhelming.
Might as
to
well
me.
tell me to watch a WNBA game. It's not happening.
I like the idea of it, but
I would have liked to see the soldier games. Like have the best soldiers, which I guess technically we have that on TV shows.
Yeah.
Like, what's the one that Dad would watch for those they're going to the Arctic and they'd be out there for X amount of days. And they wouldn't know how long the other people survived.
Those are usually people that were in the military.
Yeah,
or they were survivalists.
They're like,
What
he
was that
survived
called?
for a year on his own in isolation. And one day, a guy just comes up and he's like, hey, you won. You have no clue who else is in the game.
You don't even know if they're still alive or not. You just got to stay
There's
up
got to
the
be some
longest.
point where they forget that they're in the game. And they're just like, oh, shit, dude, I forgot. But so they go for long periods of time in the wilderness with nothing.
That would be a funny show. If somebody stumbles upon a guy who's is out in the wild.
Right.
He's been in the game for 30 years and he
Never found him.
became
Bill, is that you?
Yeah, he just hunkered down.
Hey.
He's like, I never came back to society.
Hey, your family left you,
Yeah.
but here's $1 million.
Yeah.
We thought you were dead.
Yeah, you won, buddy.
Yeah.
And he had no idea. He
I forget
just
what that was called.
became part of it. Yeah, Dad remember. It wasn't Naked and Afraid, but it was like Naked and Afraid,
Yeah.
but with all sorts of other places.
I liked the. What are they doing up there?
Kids.
No, they don't have kids. That's the problem. What the hell? Oh, they're probably chasing the dog. They got a little fat wiener dog.
Okay.
We got Survivor 50 coming up. Listen, guys,
Wow.
if you're not watching Survivor 50, I'm about to go on a rant here. Okay, listen. Survivor 50,
I saw the first
season
one.
50. Now we were looking it up. We were like, hey, let's just take a look. It's so much easier now. The whole Survivor.
You
thing.
say stuff like you've done it.
No, yeah, but what I mean is, right now they get food every day. Right, if you look at the first 20
That's true,
seasons,
yeah.
they would lose 50 pounds each. You would
Yeah.
see that heavy-set guy look like he just got off on a Zempic trip.
Yeah.
Right? So it used to be 50 days, too, or whatever. I think 35. Now it's only 24.
I literally watched the first season.
Yeah. Go
the
back
end.
and watch it. You'll be like, oh, my God, how is this allowed on TV? Now, so Survivor 50, they're bringing back all the champions. And I look at half the champions. Basically, okay, this is going to sound sexist, but you can see when the women started winning and gradually, the food, right? Here's the problem with Survivor. They started making it more about, it gets to a point in the game, I have a bone to pick with the executives there and whatever the host's name is. Eventually, it becomes puzzles. So essentially, the guy who's dominating every challenge,
Right.
they give a puzzle that's catered to non-athletic people, and it's like, hey, there's no puzzles in a survival.
Right.
So then in the end, some 5-foot woman who weighs 100 pounds somehow wins the whole thing, and you're like, okay, well,
Right.
what happens? So if she wins again this season, on 50, when you had guys that were former military,
Yeah.
if you remember,
Yeah.
I'm going to call bullshit. Also, I am curious what the prize is for 50. It has to be more than $1 million.
Well, what was good about that show with all the stupid ass puzzles was it wasn't just about physical ability. You had to work teams and whatnot, right? You had to play
Yeah.
people against each other.
Yeah,
I
once
guess
you
they
get-
still do
once
that.
you get to the merge. But so this last season,
Yeah.
right? So usually you have 3 teams,
Yeah.
right? Then eventually you get to the merge where the last 10 come together.
Yep.
But one team just kept losing because they sucked. And then they said, time to merge. And then
Right.
they just made, instead of a merge, they just made 3 new teams again. So
Right.
they just spread them out. So it's like, okay, what was the point of the merge? You just got rid of the merge.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys. I know you
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
half of you guys tuned out, but I need you to know Survivor, I could do it at this point.
Oh,
I think I
Carl,
could do
we'll
it.
see. We'll see.
I'm still waiting for Matt.
Put your name in. Put your name in.
I don't think I ever told this on the podcast. Maybe I did, but Matt Sprague signed up for Survivor using my
Yeah,
name,
you
my
told me that.
face, my social media.
No, did he
So
really?
He still gets calls.
Oh, come
'cause,
on.
Again, of course, they want someone like me on the
Yeah,
show. But
natural.
Matt's like, I was like, how'd you get it? He's like, oh, easy. I just put that I was trans, black, gay, but it was all your pictures. I was like, oh, thanks.
And they didn't even question it.
No,
Oh,
they were
okay.
just like, oh, yeah.
jeez.
So they always ask if Matt wants to do it, and he knows he can't because 1, he's too overweight, and 3, and 2, he doesn't look like me at all. And we all know the second Matt gets off the boat, he's gonna be like, I want to go home.
Yeah. Yeah, and how many Canadians actually do it?
Yeah. Well, I know that I think I think there's Survivor, like we have our U.S. Survivor, but I think there's other Survivors all over the world.
Yeah.
So I wonder where they do those. But.
I only saw the first one, the first season when Richard Hatch won. And like I said, he lost a lot of weight doing it. All the people did. The women did. And it was pretty much organized. This one went off, this one went off. And then I saw it recently. I'm like, what is this? Like
they get food every single day. If you win.
I know it's kind of, I mean, they've done 50 of them. You have to mix it up a little bit or it gets kind of boring after a while. But it just was so different. It evolved to something where I was like, this is
the games and challenges are cool until they're not cool anymore. Because it's puzzles. And you're like, oh, who can build the puzzle the fastest? Yeah. Like, okay. So, anyways, what else?
I like that other show that you guys started to watch.
The Wilderness
Extricate? Escape or...
I know I mentioned
Extraction.
Extraction, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting concept where two people help one person in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And they can push the button to get the person out. And you don't know what the other people are doing. You're not near them.
Yeah.
And you trade for fire.
I feel like, so basically, if I want out, my parents can hit a button and be like, oh, get our son out of there. But the problem is, I know Dad would not press that button.
Yeah, you could ask, right? You could ask to be taken out.
It's me crying into the camera, Ma, please get me out.
Right.
And you go, like the first kid that goes out, he's like, he couldn't get his fishing line to work. He's like, Mom, get me the fuck out of here.
Listen,
this is stupid.
I'll say this. Everybody, you say that about your dad, and me, he's the first one who would pull the switch, not me.
Everyone always thinks bitch on the way home. Dad would be like, hey, fucking, what the hell was that? First one out?
No, I think he's the opposite. He's the one who would pull the plug. He's done that more, like with you guys. Everyone always thinks it's the mother, but I can think of a couple times on the top of my head where Dad was ready to say, he's not going to do it. And I'm like, no, he's doing it. And we worked it, and you did it once, and it was your brother.
I think Mike.
But Dad was quick to say, he's not going to do it, and throw the towel in. I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who out of the three of us who would. I think Kenny would do pretty well on that. Me, the second I get bored, like the second I don't have a computer screen, I'm like, just blow my brains out.
She still didn't say that.
I'd be like, how do I get this tree to fall on me?
Dad is more the one. So so I'll give your listeners. You as a kid did not want to take medication. Like when you were little. No Advil, nothing. No Tylenol, whatever. No liquid, nothing. And you would get a massive ear infection. And you wouldn't do it. And we would try everything. And finally your dad was like, then suffer. He was like a little 3-year-old who's crying. If you don't take this, then suffer. There's nothing we could do. And he was right. You know, if you're not going to take it, you spit it out, whatever.
Love your dad.
Then be in pain. But so to his credit, he was good about stuff like that. He would net it out. Yeah. This will make you better. If you're too stupid to take it, I can't help you, And meanwhile, me as a mother, I'm like, you try it in bologna. You're trying like you're a dog or something.
Here's your pill pocket.
Treat in the Oreo,
Why does this Oreo look tampered with?
Even Christmas, I have a cup of pill,
Yeah, I don't. One thing I have learned is I gotta learn how to make fire. Like that's like one of those basic necessities that you don't think you'll need, but it's probably good to know.
It's true.
Like how to do it, even if it's just with flint and steel. But you probably should learn how to do it. I think I could do it now that I've seen Survivor enough to at least build the little stick with the thing with the yarn.
Oh, well, you gotta the friction. You make the friction.
I could do
or the rocks, certain rocks, but. TV shows make it look so, I don't want to say easy, but 15 times and finally it goes.
My problem is if I was in Alaska, I'd be like, I gotta eat. I'd try any berry I find.
Oh, this looks good.
This one looks good as it's got spikes on it, like prickles. I'd be like, I gotta survive somehow, guys.
And the polar bear shaking his head like, oh, that idiot human.
The bear's like, did he just eat that?
Yeah, just wait it out. He'll have the berry in his hours.
just wait for him to drop.
He's just dinner, kids.
Yeah. As you guys are
as
the executives are in the room, like, don't eat that. Tell him, someone stop him. And I'm just eating the berries in front of everyone.
Oh shit! Yeah.
What does this one taste like? Like it's a charcuterie board.
Oh, it's so true. Yeah. It's so true. But anyhow.
But Survivor 50 is gonna be good. Do you have any other ones, Mom?
No, I just had those, and we talked about the the legality of Maduro being.
Yeah, I guess we won't have to do the other one. I was just going to talk about how Grok AI is like the OnlyFans model's taking over Twitter now, which is not great. So it's kind of, you could say, so it's pretty incredible, although it's not good. But like OnlyFans models will like post a picture of themselves and say, "Hey Grok, make this photo with me in underwear," and it can do it.
Oh wow!
So not good.
No,
because now you can take a picture of anyone, throw it on there. Hey Grok, take the clothes off this person.
Right.
And you can do it. So.
Well, I'm just thinking about this for all these poor young kids who get exploited. They get threatened with a nude picture or whatever.
It's not good.
And what's sad is they're like, oh, there's something warped about obviously the individual having a kid do that. Because why bother? With AI, you don't need it. You can take any head and put any naked picture out.
That's kind of my mindset. Because, like, okay, this is going to sound weird. But if someone ever put, like, a picture of me out there that was AI generated, I'd say, oh, it's... Like, I wouldn't care because it's AI generated. Now you guys will never know what it actually looks like.
Right. But part of me, obviously it's easy to say if they put your head on somebody's naked body or whatever they think is naked body. Nobody would want that out there. I would be uncomfortable even if it's not my body.
Well,
even if it's
my question is, so we have laws against what's called revenge porn. You know that term?
Yeah.
But if you're posting an AI, like let's say I was a terrible person and I was an ex-boyfriend who said, let me throw my ex-girlfriend nude online, and then like a picture AI have Grok take the clothes off.
Yeah.
Does that count? Because it's not really a
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a weird sense because you could, and back to what I'm saying, these young kids are willingly give up this information and then they get blackmailed, and sadly these kids commit suicide over it, which I'm like, why are you bothering? It must be the thrill of getting these kids to do it, not the actual output, because you could take any kid's face from a magazine and put it on a naked body and claim it's that kid's body. So there's obviously more to the game than just producing this particular thing. But I sit there and I think, as an adult, it's so much easier to say, this is the crazy world, and I'm not going to get crazy. I can't get upset about it. But a young kid, it's sad that they get driven to that point.
That's why I kind of agree a little bit with Australia and doing that ban, even though it's not really fathomable to do. Like, it's not, you can't really do it.
Yeah.
That concept makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it does. But on the flip side, you make it. You really shouldn't go after the people who aren't the young people who aren't committing the crime. If it exists out there, you should find out ways to get rid of the crime. The people that prey on these young kids.
Well, I'm not even talking about the crime part. I'm just talking about the stuff that they shouldn't see online. Like now, every post you've ever had on Facebook now is up for grabs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're in a scary time.
We are, but like I said, we're in an AI world where it could be your face but somebody else's body. Would I be upset if my face was on somebody's naked body? And it's easy to say, well, it's not me, so why do you get upset? But that is a weird thing for people to have out there, especially if I didn't put that. I didn't ask for it.
No.
I wasn't playing around with Grok AI like OnlyFans or whatever.
We're slowly encroaching on that gray line argument or debate that was inevitably going to come, right?
Right.
This is what, was it Scarlett Johansson was talking about with the
Yes.
AI? Yeah.
But she's a celebrity.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that they should do that.
And now we're at just the average Joe Smo who...
Right, and I think you have less of a case when you're a celebrity who has done nudity in a movie.
Sure.
Or because now, you can't get upset now when somebody else posts it. They shouldn't make money on it.
Right.
But if somebody else posts it, when you did a major movie and it was a poster and it was part of the movie,
Right.
That's where it gets a little weird. For the average person, especially a kid, when that stuff goes on, I just look at it like, I think it's wrong if you didn't consent to that. But I was just saying to your sister today your aunt today about the glasses, the Ray-Ban glasses.
Right.
And how a young woman on a train in New York took it off a guy and broke the glasses and threw him on the ground because he was doing a TikTok video.
And he was recording, yeah.
Now, I believe in free speech and everything, but I do agree. I don't like the idea of people recording me. And there used to be you had to blacken out people's faces if you put something on YouTube, like smear their face, if they didn't consent to being on there.
Yeah.
Now there's like some general, well, that's the world, and if your face is on there, you're stuck.
We talk about this all the time. Because it's one of those things that's against the law. Everyone does it, so they can't do it. But technically, you have to ask everyone's permission in order to record them. So when you see people in a gym, that's why, like, take Zoo Culture, for instance, which is Bradley Martin's gym. All those people have to sign a waiver that says you're allowed to be on camera. Right? If you're out in public
Right.
and you're recording people, you have to get the consent or it's illegal.
Right.
But all of a sudden, we stopped doing that.
Well, that's why this girl, they all said, well, they all applauded what she did, but they realized what she did was against, she broke his property. But he was specifically filming. He was doing something you could tell. And she didn't want to be on the camera. And part of me is like, yeah, I don't want to be on everybody's face. I never used to tell you guys, don't put me on Facebook. I don't want my face.
And I have a podcast. Look how it works out.
Well, yeah, but, it's one of those things. I willingly wanted to do it. Yeah. I don't like the idea of people posting stuff about me when I didn't want any social presence. And here, I had no choice to some extent.
Yeah.
People were doing it. So I just... And then to take it to the point of nudity and you're a young kid, even if it isn't your body, that should be an automatic trace it, and that person goes to jail.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the person's body, it's their face. But they don't...
I would say that the face is more important at this point. Like now it's... Yeah. So, all right. Well, we just did an hour 12 solid podcast.
That's all? But that seemed longer.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt longer, but it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know what as I said, we're still kind of at the tail end of all the travel and stuff, so trying to get back to it. Definitely by next week, we'll be back on the normal schedule. But we're finishing out this week. Mom's here till Wednesday. It's currently Sunday. So, yeah. I don't know I think I might be doing someone else's podcast next week.
Oh.
And then redoing it.
See, I've already been bumped.
Yeah, you've already been... Or, I'm sorry, I said that weird. Someone's taking your place.
Yeah, I've been bumped.
We're going to have someone else on, but...
That's next weekend.
Yeah, and that's maybe. Doesn't really matter.
Well, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm back to my routine, hopefully Thursday.
Yeah. The only thing we haven't left is really the wedding in March, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have anything. Well, we can't put anything on our plate, or I can't at least, because we don't know where
I keep dropping this.
We now, your dad and I are now into taking care of or helping out with the older generation, so we're not as flexible as we used to be, but we'll see what happens over the next couple months. It makes things interesting. I mean, we can't really plan anything definite. So when people say, oh, could you do something in June? I'm like,
yeah. Good luck.
Sure. I go the other route now. I'm like, yeah, say yes.
Yeah.
We'll cancel.
And then let him down later. Yeah.
Later. Kids keep saying no. We'll never get invited to anything after a while. People are going to be like, they Kituchi's never do
Yeah, they never show up. So this comes out on Monday. We won't resume streaming till Thursday, and then we should be back on the regular schedule. I haven't really been posting too much. I started posting the social media clips again, but yeah.
I guess you've probably been more messed up with your other stuff with the schedule than the podcast.
Well, luckily when I went home, I scheduled the main stuff, but obviously not the live stream. So I still managed to get my videos in, which is good. So
good.
Yeah, but that's it. Social media, promo code, stream link, Discord down below, and hopefully we will see you guys next week.